What's going on? What's going on? It's your boy Brandon Bird, man. I really wanted to get up on here. Um, I really wanted to kind of go back to the continuation of my last video that I actually posted. I know I was talking about the basically the unqualified or even the uncertification of the actual of the flight of the helicopter, and basically talking about how black businesses are the most honest if you're talking about black American standpoint versus other groups of people when they do business practices. And like I said, that was more of just really kind of just sending a certain type of example of why black American businesses are so honest in their business practice. You know what I'm saying? And why so many others might have a cut corners or something like that. But I definitely want to talk about the other percent of the video that you have monsters in all types of era of time. You have many Adolf Hitlers. I know a lot of them don't like to categorize certain individual, and they do. They try to pickpocket one or just do a pick one and that's it. No, there's many monsters and travesties all throughout time, especially in European society in their history. Um, Especially they're in governor position like King Leopold II of Belgium, um, with his basically his genocide of the Congos with over 10 million, between 10 and 15 million people basically were killed, uh, murder. Some was starved. Some got caught diseases that was foreign in that land. Basically, was brought into that area in that region. But I definitely want to talk about not all skin folks is kinfolk because you have people that partake in that brutal act as well as the missionary and soldiers combined to a military police force called a publicue. Um, so, and that was consistent of European and African, mainly from Nigeria. Actually, a lot of the people that was in that police force were mainly Nigerians, coming from the Hassa tribe or something like that, Hassan region, people. Many of them were Nigerian that definitely came to be part of that military force or police force in the Congos, and definitely um, it was also under some has good intentions, and some had just purely greed intentions. Like a lot of them just wanted money and something to do. You had others that really believed in the cause of being humanitarian. There were a huge slave trading going on in the Congos. As you know, Congo was also involved in the slave trading, especially with the Arabics and all that. So there were also like a little. There was they called the Congo Arab War. That was in the 1890s that they fought and they actually won. They defeated the slave traders, but but this is how diabolical the shit is. That was a proxy war. That the Congo Arabic war. That was an actual proxy war. It wasn't really fought by the actual Belgium. It was really fought by the four Public Q and some of the slave traders. But the thing about some of the leaders that was called Tippy Two, their name was Tippy Tip. Um, some people call him Tippy Two, or some people call him Tippy Tip. And they said the original start of that war was because they accused one of the British personnel that was at one of a fort somewhere. I forgot what it's called. Stanley, I think Stan Livingston Fort. There's a guy that basically a European explorer that went through the Congos and everything. They actually attacked that fort because they accused them of stealing one of their slave girls. So that basically was the restart of the war. I mean, it was kind of like it was happened a few years before the actual war, but that was one of the main reasons why the war started. But I mean, at the same time, they actually worked hand in hand with each other as they used to actually used to use each other to distribute resources. They actually gave, I think, King Leopold actually gave Tippy Tip part of the region as him to govern, to help the Belgium and help him as to govern the Congo. So there was a lot of backroom deals in this. You know what I'm saying? So that's why, like I said, um, there's a lot of the intention was there was never good at all. It was purely about greed. The ivory, rubber, and and slaves. That was the three main resources that they were basically taking from um, the Congos. I mean, yeah, even though Belgium and slavery was kind of like fully abolished during that time, slavery was still going on in certain parts of the world and even within Africa itself. So I mean, it was still some type of bountiful in slave trading. So that's pretty much my gist on that part of history. But I definitely want to just go back to the Fourth Public, but the way it's spelled is a little bit different with a Q. They were more of a just basic enforcers. Like they basically enforced the quota system that was in place for the rubber and the ivory, but mainly for the rubber. And if you, like I said, if you miss them quotas, you get a hand chopped up, you get legs chopped up, you get whipped. You get killed eventually. I mean, they were basically they had two arms. They had two type of weapons. They had a bullwhip and they had a gun. But they were mainly used to basically use the whip. They didn't want to kill them, even though they end up was killing them. They would just whip, and they would just whip and beat you. I mean, the four public force public, they were very very brutal in the way that they enforced these quota systems and somewhat King Leopold policies in Congo. Um, they were burning villages. They were raping not just the women, but some of them were raping men as the children. Um, so you had a lot of different things going on. You had a lot of hostages. They were taking people out their home, using them as hostages for other villagers to basically make these quotas. If not, they would put greatly harm to the hostages, and basically these hostages were local tribes people. So I'm saying, so it wasn't like in a way their life to them was significant. So it was very brutal in how they basically governed Congo under Belgian rule. It was like more of a cartel or organized crime type of establishment going on. That was also sanctioned and permitted by the monarch. As you know, that monarch was the government. So it was many different things to that I want to really go into that. I think a lot of people want to know, like, they think it was just noble European white people that was basically doing all this. Yes, you have white people that was in on it, but you have many Africans in on it, and mainly you had some of the force public was local tribes people. I forgot what the tribal is. I'm sorry for that. Um, I don't want to butcher the tribe that was actually also part of that force public, but you have many Nigerians that was part of that and taking part in that as well. So it just lets you really know how much hands and blood fellow Africans had on other Africans. So you really have to look. Is it not too far that these Africans were also involved with slave trading? Um, you have to look at that. You have many Africans that claim to be Arabic, so they can trade slaves and acquire slaves. So you have many cartels going on that wasn't really by race. Race at that time was not, and throughout the globe was not really created. It was more, more like it wasn't even a concept in my eye. I think it was just more of it was just something that um, slavery was mainly like a granted of citizenship or somewhat part of a higher society and certain type of reference. That's why I think of. So that's why I'll probably look at it myself. But yeah, I just really want to shine more light in that phase in the Congo and what really was going on, who was really in there. Um, just like I said, even like I said, King Leopold reasons of going into the Congo was basically just for private property and plundering the resources. As you know, he used the resources he gained from the Congos, and he actually transformed Belgium. I mean, Belgium society today is from what King Leopold II did. He basically like almost liberalized and modernifies and modern. He modified liberal. Um, he made it become more of a liberal state. He modified modernization. He brought in industrializations, and that's when the wealth really came into Belgium. So really, the transformation politics and which he did for Belgium, he basically got straight out the back and blood and sweat and tears out of the Congo. So you really want to give it mainframe. Congo actually gave Belgium, like many Africans or even American slavery gave United States their status of citizenship and wealth. Um, like I said, this is all the rotation clock is going on. So definitely want to just shine a little bit of light on that situation with King Leopold II and everything else. But I'll definitely hit you guys up real soon. All right, one.